Hey everyone, before we dive in, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a story. The transparent panels of Carter Enterprises' top floor boardroom sparkled beneath the bright overhead lights as my dad strode back and forth behind the sleek walnut desk. His high-end suit was creased from what I figured was a night without sleep, handling whatever urgent issue had sparked this sudden Sunday gathering. From the massive windows reaching from floor to ceiling, the urban horizon spread out endlessly. A symbol of the commercial powerhouse my grandpa had started from scratch and my dad had grown into a billion-dollar publicly traded firm. I waited just beyond the boardroom entrance, clutching two steaming mugs of coffee. One for me, and one I'd meant to hand to Dad as things kicked off. Peering through the clear barriers, I saw my brothers Alex and Brian organizing papers and loading money stats onto the huge screens fixed to the wall. Their actions showed the quick focus of folks tackling a major problem, and their faces held the serious look of leaders aware that their choices could impact thousands of workers and huge sums in investor funds. The early figures are turning out even bleaker than expected, Alex mentioned while swiping through what seemed like sales summaries for the quarter on his computer. The deficit is huge, and unless we come up with a solid way to justify it to the directors tomorrow, we might face scrutiny from the SEC. Brian gave a serious nod as he marked parts of a hefty money document with a bright highlighter. The examiners are raising points we have no responses for, he added. There are mismatches in the branch bookkeeping that don't add up, and the money movement forecasts reveal holes that might point to deep-rooted troubles. Dad halted his walking and rested against the board table, his hands clenched tight on the smooth wooden edge. We've got just 18 hours to sort this before the earnings update call, he stated, his tone revealing the pressure of someone staring down possible career and personal ruin. If we fail to give a clear reason for these figures, the share value will plummet and drag the whole business down with it. I moved toward the boardroom entrance and lifted my fist to tap, intending to step in and lend a hand with the mess they were sorting out. Carter Enterprises had been my world for the last 8 years, starting as a summer helper in college, moving to an entry-level number cruncher, and lately heading up branch money merging. If there were bookkeeping errors and money flow issues, I was likely the best one to assist in fixing them. Family members only, you wouldn't get the corporate side, Dad announced as he spotted me nearing the entrance, his words echoing sharply through the see-through panels. This is a critical leadership session for those who truly know how companies run. The rejection struck me hard, like a punch to the gut. Over 8 years, I'd mastered every part of Carter Enterprises' workings, climbing from basic roles, even with my business degree from a top school and strong grasp of company finances. Yet my dad apparently still viewed me as the young kid who fiddled with number machines in his workspace, not a skilled leader who could actually contribute. My brothers fist bumped, keeping me out of the urgent discussion, and I observed through the clear walls as Alex and Brian shared triumphant smirks, obviously happy that their sibling had been formally shut out of handling the emergency. Their looks showed the cocky glee of guys who felt they'd guarded their domain from any woman stepping in. At last, I caught Alex saying as Dad closed the boardroom entrance with finality, "We can tackle this mess without breaking down simple company ideas for someone who sees bookkeeping as fancy math." Brian chuckled and flipped open his case to pull out additional money papers. Honestly, what could she even add? This involves SEC rules, branch merging, and earnings forecasts. It's far from beginner stuff. Their easy brush off of my skills might have been funny if it wasn't such a career crusher. Both brothers had solid business qualifications from good colleges, but neither matched my focused training in money review or my direct involvement with the branch activities that were now at the heart of their trouble. I lingered outside the boardroom briefly, seeing them fumble with files and info I'd handled for months, hearing them argue over fixes for issues I'd already spotted and dealt with in early drafts they clearly hadn't glanced at. I sent a quick message. Best of luck with those quarterly summaries. Then I headed to my nearby office a few doors away, where I could easily see the live share tracker on the wall showing Carter Enterprises' price moment by moment. It sat at $47.83 a share, off roughly 8% from the end of Friday, but still in typical swing for a Sunday start. I fired up my computer and opened the full money review I'd finished 3 weeks back, the one outlining precisely what my brothers were now uncovering in their panic mode. The branch bookkeeping mismatches they were freaking out over. The money movement holes they couldn't figure. The rule-following risks that could bring SEC probes. It was all laid out in my review, complete with step-by-step ideas to handle each issue. The document had been in Dad's inbox for 21 days, still unmarked as opened, even after my 3 reminder notes asking for input and the go-ahead to put the fixes in place. I'd also forwarded copies to Alex and Brian, who must have trashed them unread, likely thinking nothing useful could come from their sister. Then I saw our share price tank right before my eyes as the day's trading opened, and buyers began reacting to Carter Enterprises' money oddities, which were leaking out quicker than my relatives expected. $47.83 turned to $44.15. In the opening 5 minutes, then $41.22. As computer programs spotted the drop and started unloading positions, the trade count exploded, with huge numbers of shares switching owners as big funds sold off their Carter Enterprises holdings over whispers of earnings troubles. From the boardroom's clear panels, I watched Dad and my brothers bent over their screens, no doubt eyeing the same price feed with mounting dread as they saw their 18-hour fixed window vanish. The market was responding to details they believed were private, meaning their issues were out in the open. My phone vibrated with a message from my old college buddy, who analyzed finances for one of Carter Enterprises' major backers. "Emma, what's going on with your folks' firm? Our team just issued an urgent sell note based on talk of bookkeeping problems." I replied, "Ongoing family strategy session. They're on it." It was true enough, but I kept it low-key. My relatives were managing the situation, just not well. $41.22 became $38.95. As more sellers piled in. Trade activity hit peaks usually reserved for big company scandals or major events, with millions of shares sold off every couple minutes as fear rippled through the money world. Through the transparent walls, I saw Dad waving his arms wildly while Alex and Brian tried to decode money docs they were clearly viewing fresh. Their approach to the emergency looked like gesturing at graphs and talking louder, which rarely solves rule issues or wins back trust from buyers. My computer pinged with a message from the Securities and Exchange Commission, an official request about Carter Enterprises' branch bookkeeping habits and money reporting. The team sought full details on the mismatches my brothers were just noticing, plus records of every money move for the prior 18 months. I passed the SEC note to Dad's email with a short comment. "This landed with me since I'm the branch money merging expert. Figured you'd want to know." Half a minute later, Dad's helper rapped on my door with clear haste. "Miss Carter, your dad requires you in the boardroom right now." I saved my files, shut my laptop, and returned to the boardroom where my family grappled with troubles I'd flagged and fixed weeks prior. Via the clear panels, I saw them glued to devices with faces twisting in alarm as the share price kept falling. $38.95 had slid to $34.62, marking a drop of more than 25% in company worth in under an hour of trading. Trade signals showed no let-up in sales, and money news sites were rolling out pieces on Carter Enterprises' puzzling money woes. Dad swung open the boardroom door with the frantic energy of a man whose life was unraveling live. "Emma, we need your input," he urged. His prior assurance swapped for near panic. "There's some error in the money docs, and the SEC has queries we can't handle." "What sort of queries?" I inquired evenly, already fully aware since I'd prepped for them over weeks. "They need proof for branch deals that aren't in our central system," Alex described in a rush. "Millions in moves without proper labels, and money statements don't align with branch ones." I nodded slowly, acting as if it was fresh news to ponder. "How long have you known about these mismatches?" "We spotted them today," Brian said urgently. "Prepping for the earnings call tomorrow, we saw the figures didn't match. Examiners noted several points we can't clarify." "Got it," I said, taking a seat at the table as my brothers and Dad gazed at me like folks sinking in a money pit. "And you want guidance on the branch merging steps?" "Yes," Dad jumped in. "We must grasp how funds shift between the main firm and branches, and why the bookkeeping setups aren't in sync." I booted up my laptop and loaded the money review from 3 weeks ago, the exact one ignored in their inboxes amid what they deemed priority tasks. You mean this review? I asked, rotating the screen so they could view the thorough document covering every branch money merging flaw they were now facing. The quiet that hit was heavy and awkward. Dad's complexion shifted multiple times as he spotted the file he'd skipped for 3 weeks. Alex and Brian bent in to scan the overview, their looks turning from bewilderment to shock at the extent they'd overlooked. You knew about these issues already? Dad questioned faintly. I pinpointed them 7 months back. In a standard branch check, I stated steadily. The bookkeeping errors, money gaps, rule risks, everything stressing you now was in my initial draft from last fall. Why keep it from us? Alex pressed, though weakly since we all knew I tried sharing often. I emailed this review to you 3 on the 15th of last month, I answered, pulling up my sent folder to display dates and receipts. Follow-ups came on the 22nd, then the 3rd and 18th of the next month, seeking input and permission to roll out the suggested fixes. The email record was clear proof of their oversight and my persistence. Months of alerts dismissed, fixes denied, knowledge ignored because it came from someone they didn't see as a true company player. But if you spotted these, why not correct them? Brian pleaded. I lack the power to alter branch bookkeeping rules, I noted calmly. That needs top-level sign-off, which I asked for repeatedly, but never got. Dad stared at his phone where the price had hit $31.47 with no rebound in sight. Carter Enterprises was losing value fast, and each minute without action worsened the fix and cost. What now? He asked, his tone empty from seeing his brush off of my skills potentially wipe out hundreds of millions in family firm worth. We roll out the fixes I suggested 3 weeks back, I said, opening the step-by-step plan tied to my review. But the schedule's tight since it's public now, not a quiet internal matter. How long? Alex wondered, wishing for a fast patch to calm buyers before close. Had we begun when I first suggested, we'd have cleared it discreetly over weeks, I explained. With SEC in play and shares tanking, it's months of heavy cleanup, plus oversight and likely government reviews. The fallout was massive. What could have been a simple check fix had blown into a PR nightmare, risking the firm's future and family heritage. Emma, Dad said cautiously, we need you leading this. Your knowledge to steer us through the SEC probe and money fixes. The ask was satisfying yet maddening. After months labeled as business clueless, I was now their sole hope against their own overconfidence and carelessness. I can handle it, I consented. But operations here must change moving ahead. What changes? Brian asked warily. First, instant bump to chief money officer with total control over all finance and branch oversight, I laid out. Second, a proper sorry from each of you for downplaying my skills and skipping my alerts. Third, a signed promise that my ideas get real consideration going forward. The asks were fair under the circs, but they flipped family control in ways Dad and my brothers hesitated to embrace. CFO, Alex echoed weakly. That's top tier. You lack the background. I have more fitting background than anyone here, I cut in strongly. 2 years running branch money merging, top business degree in company funds, and I'm the one who foresaw this months ago. Dad eyed the price dipping to $28.93, nearing halt triggers. Okay, he said frantically. CFO, apology, promises, anything. Just stop the loss before it's all gone. I'll need funds for cleanup experts, lawyers, and image handlers, I added. This will demand big resources to sort right. How much? Brian queried, ready to greenlight whatever saved the day. Likely 8 to 10 million over 6 months, I figured, plus possible SEC penalties, and deals up to another 20 million. 30 million in fixed costs. Cash spared if they'd read my notes and acted when I first flagged issues. Approve it, Dad said instantly. Whatever needed. I passed the day setting urgent money safeguards and readying SEC papers while Dad and brothers looked on powerlessly as Carter Enterprises shares settled near $26, a near 50% value wipe in one session. Money media ran stories on the Carter Enterprises meltdown, guessing at family-run pitfalls and nepotism risks in leadership. My name popped in pieces as the fresh CFO called in to mop up, reporters unaware I'd fought to avert this for months. By Monday close, Carter Enterprises shed over $400 million in worth, with SEC launching a full probe into our money practices. But my quick controls halted the freefall, and my initial SEC reply gained time for a full recovery strategy. Emma, Dad said, wrapping our first formal top meeting with me as CFO. My sorry needs to cover way more than this weekend. Yes, it does, I confirmed. I've seen you as a kid, not valuing your skills and input, he went on. I let ideas on roles and family blur my view of your pro abilities. Alex and Brian nodded, looking duly regretful for months of conduct. We nearly wrecked Grandpa's legacy, too proud to hear from someone we deemed lesser, Alex said. That's an error we can't repeat, I noted. Next time, no fix might exist. In the next 6 months, I guided Carter Enterprises through its biggest money overhaul ever. We revamped branch bookkeeping, added fresh rule checks, met all SEC demands, and slowly regained buyer trust. Shares climbed to $38 by year-end, not pre-mess highs, but solid for the fixes made. Key was, Carter Enterprises came out with tighter money handles and pro-leadership setup. I came out as CFO of a billion-dollar outfit, earning respect and power via skill, not ties. The urgent meet that barred me for not getting business sparked my climb to top corporate ranks. Those who ignored my alerts learned ignoring knowledge is price. The firm learned valuing input by know-how, not gender or years. 6 months on, with Carter Enterprises posting record quarterly results, Dad highlighted my finance lead in his investor note. This quarter's win owes to our CFO Emma Carter's exceptional work. Her insight and plans have revamped our money side, he shared on the call. She spotted hurdles first. Her fixes set us for lasting growth and strength. It was the acknowledgement I'd chased years, won by proven ability and excellence, not family games or quotas. Each glance at the ticker now at $42 for Carter Enterprises reminded me when my family grasped dismissing versus respecting knowledge. Often the top business takeaway isn't funds or plans. It's hearing those who know more, no matter if they match your leader image.